Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. This amazing podcast. Finally got a podcast episode 6, I believe.
6.
Exactly, one close to 7. With today, I have with me a guest, a person who I've known for 20 years, a person I've known my entire life. I love this man like a brother. Oh, wait a minute. It is my brother, ladies and gentlemen. I have with me on my podcast my older brother, Eli Saucier. Insert applause here.
I thank you for having me on. I feel very honored.
All right, it's great to see you, and if you can, if you have to, you can speak a little closer to the mic, speak up a little more.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, Eli, if you want to tell us something about yourself, anything interesting about you that no one knows. I mean, not that many people do know about you that watch this series.
Something interesting about me that no one knows. See, this podcast is a music podcast for the most part, right?
Yeah. Most of the time we discuss music, and I will, if a guest on here, they talk about something different or interest, whether it be MJ with fitness that I had last week, or someone might come on here and want to talk about, I don't know, tennis for some weird reason. But yeah, but mostly music.
All right. I've recently gotten into jazz music. Jazz music is very calming music, and the song in a sentimental mood is just, it's a good song. So that's that one thing about me right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard "In a Sentimental Mood." I've heard a lot of YouTube channels. It's a very common song, actually. It's very popular than I thought it was.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that popular right now. But yeah.
And so, I guess I can go into a good question, starting off with start with music-based questions. He said you are now into jazz. What other types of music do you like, and who are some of your favorite artists to listen to?
I like soul music. I like R&B music. Yeah, R&B music. Let's see, what I listen to now. I mean, some of my favorite people to listen to now are Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu. Yeah, I like Esperanza Spalding too. If there's some, well, I mean, you know a good bit about music. What does that say to you?
What does that say to me?
Yeah.
Wow.
If I will, as I just did, said that I like that, for the most part, I've been listening to Lauryn Hill, Esperanza Spalding, and Erykah Badu. What does that tell you?
I think a lot of times people's music is similar to food and things like that. It just reflects on a person's personality. And I think with that selection of artists ranging from Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu and Esperanza Spalding, that's really just 3 different genres. You have mainly hip hop with Lauryn Hill. You have R&B and neo soul with Erykah Badu, and then you have jazz with Esperanza Spalding. Which, it's kind of funny that it would be interesting to say it would have a diverse personality, but they're all sort of intertwined when it comes to those genres, because people always say that hip hop is a combination of jazz, R&B, soul, taken from those things. And then you have R&B and neo soul, which are 2 genres basically one and the same, two peas in a pod. And you have jazz, which is kind of like very, it's like a brother to R&B, to me at least. They're not structured the same way, but I think they have a very similar feel. And I think with all three of those artists, honestly, they have a very similar feel in a way. And their music shows that too. It's very diverse. It's not, it could be high energy, it could be very calming, it could be very soothing. And probably majority of the time it is very soothing and relaxing to hear those three artists. And to me, from watching you, and especially since I probably know you best as from like a handful of people, I'd probably say that matches your personality, which is a very calming, nice person. Cool demeanor.
All right. I thought it was interesting that you did you say that you said jazz and R&B are close?
I really think they're close.
But from those three, I like the way that they put their emotions into it. I know that that's a lot of what music is people finding a way to put their emotions into sound. But I really like how they are able to take how they feel or take some experience they have and kind of go through what they went through and put it in a song. I really like that.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed artists who try to give an emotional connection with their fans, and I think that with people like those three, I think that's why they will always remain like a topic of conversation within their respective genres. Like, you'll always hear people say that someone will say their favorite singer is Erykah Badu, and I'm pretty sure that when you talk around people who listen to jazz, probably will always say they listen to Esperanza Spalding, and a lot of people say that Lauryn Hill is one of the best artists ever. And I think it shows to that emotional connection that they have with their fans the same way that many artists have done that, like Prince and Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, people like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Prince, you were telling me before we started this how I think it started like yesterday or was it like today that you were
today.
Oh, okay. It was today that you were saying how you were just listening to Prince interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on Prince?
What are my thoughts on Prince? I like how in a lot of his interviews, well, I mean, I only watched a couple, but throughout the Larry King one, he didn't really go off trying to talk about whether other people did something wrong to him or the issues that he had or anything like that. He talked about how he learned from his experiences and he sort of just took life for what it was, and he talked about staying in the present moment and things like that, and it just shows how when it comes to being, I guess you could say, spiritually connected, that could lead you down a lot of different paths, and it's I don't want to say it's not up to you, but it seems like it isn't really up to you at some point. It's something that's a lot larger than you, and you learn to go with it, and you'll see in a lot of people that they just seem to be in a much better place after that, where they just learn to go with it, and they learn to learn about themselves, and they take each life experience just for what it is. Of course, you're going to have your ups and your downs, but you're going to have your ups and your downs. It's just that, and that's just one of the great things that I've come to learn, and I like how I stumbled across that, because it just seems like something that, I don't know, not something I didn't think I'd see in an interview like that, but it was nice to hear someone talk about their spiritual experience, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess like, coming from that, would you say you're a spiritual person?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you go about on your own spiritual journey of, like, your learnings, your understanding of things? Like, what do you read about?
What do I read about? I read about a lot of different things. I like the Abraham Hicks books. The first one I read was The Law of Attraction. Yeah, and it was a good book. I am reading Ask and It Is Given now. Is also by Abraham Hicks. But I mean, and a lot of other things, you know, just different things that I'm interested in, like astrology and numerology. But I guess I'm learning now more and more each day that it isn't really about let's try to put this into words now. That it's not really so much about what you do, it's more about how you can take what's inside and reflect it on the outside, which I mean, you do almost every single, well, not almost, but you do it every single day. You just learn to take your emotions and put them in a more efficient place. I don't want to say you take life for what it is, but I mean that's pretty much what you do, because a lot of people will come to points where it seems like they're just pushing and pushing and pushing, and it seems like things just aren't working, and they get really frustrated, and they go into these deep dark holes, and they don't really know how to get themselves out. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is finding yourself in some deep dark holes at a point, and just and really growing from it, and Yeah. I don't know.
It is kind of like with the saying of things like life is what you make it, and
Yeah.
like on life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Would you? I wouldn't say people take life too seriously, but I would think, because of my own understanding, seeing people going through things like that, and even myself experiencing just difficult things that I may have made difficult on my own, and seeing what life has brought me because of things like that. It seems to me like people should need to take a step back, assess their situations, and try to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
You know, is that kind of, in a sense, what you were saying?
Well, I would say it's more of stepping back and seeing things from a broader perspective. I've heard, I've heard different accounts of people having what are called out of body experiences, where they see themselves and they aren't in their physical bodies. So so they aren't in their physical bodies. So then how much is the physical body yours, or is this just what you're in right now? And then when it's over with, it's not really over with, because you don't remember being born and won't remember dying either. Well, I mean, even people who have their testimonials on their having past life regressions and things like that, where they see themselves die, or they saw themselves with this person in this year. That's still their own personal experience, and whether they want to say that was a past life experience is up to them. I can't tell them that was. I can't tell them it's not. But it sort of puts life into perspective. When you think of it in a broader perspective, are certain things worth really worrying so much about? Are they worth putting so much energy into? And if the answer is yes, then I would still not take that as the complete answer. I would still say why, and then go on to what's most important. And I find that my peace of mind a lot of times is the most important thing, and if it doesn't bring peace of mind, then why continue to have it? And when you continue to have certain thoughts or things like that don't necessarily serve what you want, well then what are you going to do to get to where you want? And a lot of times it takes a change in perspective, and you can't see life how you used to see life. And there's no way I can see life how I used to see life. It just isn't the same anymore. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain sometimes, but going back to your question, which was, what was your question? It
was asking if like what my analogy was on track with what you were saying earlier about people taking life and assessing the situation, taking a step back before attacking it head on.
Oh, okay. I answered that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't dance too much around it and not come back to it.
yeah. So that makes me want to ask, and like you can go as deep as you want to, but now that makes me question. God, I never asked you about this, but how did you used to view life before this change of mind and this and developing a peace of mind? Because I don't know, there could be someone who might listen to this and wants to have a change of pace in life, but doesn't know where to start, and this may help them.
Um, I could say that I viewed it as most people do, but I can't really say that because I don't know how most people view
Right.
life. It's a little bit hard to even go back that far because I mean, you really learn to place yourself in the present moment. And I'll think back to like college because you're in college and you talk about college, so that kind of just brings things from there back. But I mean, even going back to high school is a little bit of a blur just because, I mean, how important is it right now?
Right. Yeah.
But I think it's more of where you want to be in life than where you are, because I've seen or heard of but you know, the people coming from many different places, many different circumstances, and getting where they want to be in a spiritual sense, or in a financial sense, or just any way that they want to get to. They will get themselves there, but I would say it started for me really wanting to take control of my life, because it almost seemed like I would kind of just do things and go through the motions, and it's like, oh yeah, I did this, and then it's like, okay, well, now what? And so once I sort of just decided that I wanted to take responsibility for my life and my decisions. It just caused a whole change in how I kind of viewed life, and I just thought more about where I'm placing my energy. And yeah. I end all my answers with the kind of, I think that's the end of my answer, maybe, possibly.
So no, I mean, that's a good way to look at life, and I think a lot of people, I would assume a lot of people probably want to find a way to put themselves into good energy and things like that. As he fixes the camera,
I had my head a little cut off. I wanted to fix it.
I thought about it. I was like, people are gonna be like, I can't see his head.
Let's put you back in the camera a little bit more. Okay.
Oh, okay. Or just completely shut me out, like just blur straight pixels. All right.
All right. Okay.
All right. Are we good?
I think so.
Okay.
But let's hope I don't do this too much. And I
Fucking quit yawning. You're not boring me. Like,
yeah. All right.
Yeah, sure. That's what they all say. But yeah, I think a lot of people want a positive life more so to really avoid negativity or anything that brings negativity or stress into their life. And I think the word would be challenging for a lot of people, because sometimes some people aren't the same as others. Some people, yeah. So some people want to, some people can easily cut off people out of their lives, and probably be perfectly fine with not that many people. But some people prefer a lot of company, so it's hard to cut off friends. Friends are just acquaintances that bring a certain energy that you don't like, but you may not even know if it's that person or not, but you know that something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it's hard to adapt to change, because it's a process to change that kind of lifestyle. So especially even taking the little steps, some people aren't comfortable with it. But I really think it's good that you have found ways to look at the positive and keep a peace of mind and keep a positive attitude on a lot of things, because sometimes something can just come into life and try to steer you into the different direction, but you've been able to counteract it, hopefully.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, because I think that it makes it more difficult when you counteract it or you try to resist it. I think that makes it a lot more difficult. I think in a way it's a lot easier on you if you just kind of go with it. And a lot of times, if you're able to stay where you're at, then you'll get placed right where you're supposed to be. But if you try to fight that thing that you think is not you so much, then it's keeping that part with you. So if you, it's kind of like not letting it go. You're holding on to it by the idea of it not being you. But if you just let that thing go, then it just goes.
Yep. I can see that. I want to talk about astrology.
Cool.
So, tell us about astrology. Tell us about like what you've been reading about your astrology, because a lot of people talk about it, or people know like their sun signs, knowing that they're like a Libra or a Virgo or a Capricorn. As some people I know their ascendants and their moon signs, and I'm pretty sure that they know that there's more to it. So from your own understanding and from what you've learned, what do you have to say about astrology from your own experience?
From my own experience, I would say that it's a great way to start to learn about yourself, because the first thing you're going to do with astrology is go through all your placements and aspects and different things like that, but it makes you reflect on your life and kind of see the way you think, the way you perceive yourself. And I think that that's the biggest part of it. What other people have to say is their own interpretation of it, and that's just with all things in life is what other people's interpretation of it is. Whether that's food, you could have a completely different view on food than another person does, and they could really think that you have the worst diet ever, and yet you feel better than they do on most occasions because of your thoughts on food. So I think that the important perspective gained from astrology is looking more into who you are. And yeah, and then when it comes to even going deeper into your charts, there's so much to it that people can study astrology for 10 hours a day for 20 years, and they think they haven't scratched the surface yet, because that's how much there is to astrology. There's a lot to astrology. But I think that the largest thing to gain from it is the step taken towards learning about who you are.
Nice. Is numerology similar to astrology in that type of sense of interpreting, of finding yourself and finding a different perspective?
Yeah. The biggest difference that I would say is that you see numbers all over the place. There are numbers all over the screen, right there on the wall. You see numbers all over the place, and you only see 2 planets in the sky, and that's if you count the sun as the planet, as a planet. And then with other ones, you have to use a telescope or look only a certain time of year to see like Mars. And I think that shows the looking deep into yourself, because you have to look so far. But are you looking far out, or are you looking far in? Right.
What? Oh,
exactly. Yeah. And because even with the deepest sign, people will call Scorpio the deepest sign. Well, that's ruled by Pluto, which is the farthest planet. So are you looking far out or far in? You see, and then that's another, that's when it comes to like different interpretations of astrology. And that's also why I find it so interesting. You know, for any listeners out there interested, I'm a Scorpio sun, a Taurus moon, and a Scorpio rising.
You hear that, ladies?
Yeah, but
Oh, you're a Taurus rising?
no, moon.
I'm a Taurus
yeah,
moon too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, if anyone else wondering, I'm a Capricorn sun, Taurus moon, Aries rising, but this isn't about me. This is about him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's funny. It's funny because like when you see numbers, sometimes there's a certain number that always pops up. Like, do you remember the time I went to go get my license and we just kept seeing the number 11?
Yeah.
everywhere. Cause I remember, I think it was on November 8th, so it was an 11 month. We might have done that at like 11 in the morning. That wouldn't surprise me. But I remember the one thing I know is like I got an 83 on the test, and 8 plus 3 is 11. And it was funny because that day I was about to release a beat and I could not think of the name for it, so I called it 11 because that's the only number I saw all day. So I thought it was hilarious. But
yeah, when it comes to that, I think that the I guess you could say that the numbers are trying to tell you something, but at the same time, I think that something, it depends on how you look at it.
mm-hmm.
Depends on what your perspective on life is, to where you can say that it's you trying to get yourself to pay more attention to what's right around you, or whether you think that it's God trying to show you something, or you think it's your ancestors who passed away trying to talk to you. There was someone I used to work with who kept seeing 1111, and she said that she thinks it was her grandmother trying to talk to her, and that was just the first thing that came to her. It wasn't like she looked it up and, oh, this means your grandmother's trying to talk to you. That was just what she said, and it was like, well, if that's what you say, then that might be it.
Yeah, she might be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I seen the number 47. It's taped on the wall.
Yes, it is.
I think you have it drawn on like your binder.
Oh, yes, I do.
So
binder, it's over there.
We'll find that binder later.
Oh, it's right there on the floor.
Okay, it's not that far. What does the number 47 symbolize, and what does it symbolize to you? Because that could be two different things.
Well,
maybe I don't know.
I mean, well, I've been seeing it for about a year now, so yeah, I started seeing it when I got the book on numerology, and at first I was seeing the number 48, and I read the description for the number 47, and it was almost like, oh, well, I wonder what would happen if I started to sing the number 47, and I started to see the number 47, and then I was like, I wonder if this is just a countdown, and I started to see the number 46. I was like,
Just kept seeing 47s,
and then I kept seeing the number 47 after that. It is 8:47 right now. You see?
And you know the thing about that is that time is wrong because it's 8:30.
See, it's very interesting though, right?
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Because it said 8:47 on there, but
well, that's pretty funny though. I thought I was gonna see 47 minutes here. I was like, let me see. You're fine.
Well, what is the number the number 47 mean? You're asking me that as if I wrote a speech on it.
Oh yeah, you did.
But so it's the number 4 and the number 7, and with the double-digit numbers, you always want to add them together and reduce them down to a single digit. That's the rules of numerology. Right. And it's funny because I said the rules of numerology, and I thought of it as a game, and I just think of how almost everything here is like a game. Almost everything here on Earth is like a game. And you don't really win the game, you just kind of play. And if you don't want to play anymore, you just stop playing. But there are games people think that they have to play, and I don't know. It's just. But the 4, I mean, I can go deep into talking about what the numbers mean, or what I've read that they've meant, what I've read about their meanings, or what I see about what they mean. But you know, with the 4, it's, excuse me, it's a very stable and very practical. The number 4 is it ruled by the moon? No, that's number 2. But it is the 4th house in numerology. And then you get numbers that are just all over the place like that, and you have to kind of add what they mean there into what the overall meaning for it is. So there's that. It's very stable number. Like chairs have 4 legs, and a table has 4 legs, and a car has 4 wheels, and you know. And then the number 7 is a lot more of an introspective number. Thinking the prime numbers, especially the first 9 of them. Well, except for 2. No, because I counted 1. No, I'm not gonna go into prime numbers. I'm excited about that too, but it's a lot more research oriented, and a lot more spiritual. It's a lot more up in the head. Like there's 7 chakras. See all these numbers. There's 7 chakras, and then the 7th chakra is the crown chakra. So it's all up here. And then the 4 plus 7 is 11, and 11 is a master number, and master numbers don't get reduced for the most part. So it's 1 plus 1 is 2, so it's got all the energy of the 2, but it enhances that up to the number 11, and it's 2 1s, so it also has the energy of the 1. Because where a number like 12, it reduces to 3, so the main energy is the 3, but you also have to take into account the 1 and the 2, because 12 is different from 3, it's different from 21, different from 30. But the number 11 is a lot more of a sensitive number, a more emotional number, a psychic number, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when it comes to like numbers, like my life has numbers 9, but another number I like is 3, which is a factor of 9. Yeah. 3. 9's a multiple of 3. 9's a factor of 3. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, but like 3, because I just remember I was watching this video of they were talking about Jack White and the White Stripes, and they were talking
Who's
about
that?
you know that song? What's that song called? It's a really famous song, Seven Nation Army. Like the song they always sing, like dun 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 dun.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he and his ex-wives made that song, and they were talking about one time I guess when he was working at a store, I forgot what it was. I think he was stapling something, and he put 3 staples in it, and he realized then, like he realized how like 3 is the minimum for like a lot of things. Like 3 is the minimum amount of legs like a table or maybe even like a chair could have for it to just even stand on its own.
A chair with 3 legs is probably more stable than a chair with 4 legs.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what I mean, they would all have to be the same height, but at all times, no matter what the length is, all of them are going to touch the floor. Well, whereas if it's if there are 4 legs, then if one's off, then the whole thing's gonna wobble.
Yeah, and it's like you do that, or like those 3 staples and whatever he was doing are enough to like hold it in.
I'm sorry, come on, I just
No, it's fine.
gotta do that. All right.
And it's just like that I thought was cool too, and I was just like, it's not like I incorporate my life in terms of like 3, but a lot of times I enjoy things, even like in small amounts. Like anything like a multiple of 3 is fine with me. Any other number, like if I did something in a certain amount of times, it feels weird. Like if I'm doing workouts and I do a rep or something, I might do 10, but that's as far high up I'll go. Like 9 feels better, or like doing 6. If I go higher up, like 12, 15, something like that, or like and just stuff like that. Like I remember I said, just to be funny, I was like, if I released this specific project and I kept doing a series of it, I was gonna do 9 of them. Not, but that was just a thing I thought about. But I was like, if I ever do series of things, I'm gonna stop at to the 3rd one, because there's no point going at the 3, because now you're just doing overkill to me. Because you're just gonna keep going back in the 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
And there's a very interesting thing about 3 is even when it comes to like speakers, people give speeches, they usually like to give 3 key points, and there are just those 3 big things that they make sure to hit, and then there's all those sayings, those old sayings that are all in 3s. Like I came, I saw, I conquered. It's 3.
Vini Vidi Vici. That's always the same thing. I don't know. I think that's what everybody's Chris where he goes Vini Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its tail.
But I mean, there are a lot more. I'm just not thinking of them right now.
That's the life cycle. It's 3 stages of life. Birth, the part where you live your life, and then death. It's a triangle of life.
There's an interesting thing with the 3s. Like one thing will usually birth from 2 things. Like the child comes from the 2 parents. So then there's 3. They talk about wanting to merge mind, body, and soul. It's 3 things.
Are you saying 1 + 1 is 3 with the family thing?
Oh man, I'm not even gonna go into that. Not even gonna go into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will see numbers and may not know what to do with it. So I think numerology is a good thing for people to delve into whenever they feel like it, if they want to, because it says. Because there's a reason why you're seeing that number a lot. Like, there's a reason why people see numbers a lot, and numbers say a lot. Like, I guess that saying is true, which I guess is like a three sentences. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I think it goes further than like when people say it's like a verse like money, or people say like statistics, which in fact that's a lie, because I can make up a statistic right now, and depending on if I give you a source, you'd believe it, because some people don't fact check a lot of people. But I think in terms like numbers don't lie, I think when you're saying something like that, numbers play a role in a lot of things, so numbers may not lie in that specific circumstance. But again, it's a saying of three.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're like close this out, but I want to talk about one thing. We talked about a lot of stuff, but I kind of want to talk, because we were talking about this a couple days ago, and let's talk about movies for a bit.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah. So, from what you told me, you used to be a very big movie watcher.
Oh yeah.
Did you have a top 5 of favorite movies, or like even if now, if someone were to say, Eli, if you wanted to watch 5 movies again, what would you watch? Like the first 5 that you could think of that you actually like you've enjoyed before, that were really like something that like meant a lot to you, or just your favorites.
I like Pulp Fiction, Fight Club, Hitch. I know there's a cartoon one, but it's not coming to mind right now. I don't think it was The Lion King.
I was like Finding Nemo.
I don't think that was it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I like Shark Tale too, but I don't think that was it either. Yeah, I'm not.
It's been a minute. I haven't seen Shark Tale in a year. Shark Tale in years.
But from that point on, I mean, I don't know what I pick as my other 2. I mean, we were just saying that 3 is the magic number, right? So I mean,
yeah, because like so like you like, oh, what's your top 5? I might think of 3. You know what's funny is like if you ask me my top 5, I never will have a top 5. I always have a top 6. So of course it's gonna be a multiple of 3. So yeah, that's kind of funny. And that's very interesting too, because like that also says a lot about your personality, of those 3, and plus like a 4th one was gonna be a cartoon, and it wasn't even gonna be like an adult cartoon. It was you were thinking of something like Shark Tales or Lion King.
I can't
So it was like something of like for not even for children, for like a whole family to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like just like with the music, it that says a lot about people's personality, because you have Pulp Fiction, which is like I don't even know what to say about that one. Like it's because it's not like not action, not drama. It's like, I guess it's like film noir to an extent. And if you remember like film noir, those are kind of like detective movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then you have Hitch, which is like a romantic comedy, and then you had Fight Club.
Yeah.
And that's just like an action movie, really.
I think of it more of it as especially when you get to the end, it's like a psychological thriller.
Okay, well, yeah, I haven't like seen the whole movie. I just like funny, but we were talking, and like we're just gonna like kind of discuss. Like I thought it'd be cool. The like, I told you how I watched The Usual Suspects, and I just thought that movie was very interesting because it was like, I thought the whole entire like when you after you watch the end, you figure out who is Kaiser Soze or who we believe to be Kaiser Soze.
You can't just give out this boiler up alerts on here, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'll not talk about the ending to a movie from 1995. Let me stop. But how he went about telling the story is pretty amazing. Just like, because it's like, I enjoy watching movies with like a good villain in it. Because actually, I enjoy sometimes like watching the villain, because sometimes some villains are justified when they have like a reason. Like the actions that they do are not good, but what they're doing, like their reasoning for it, it's kind of like anyone else would be mad about that. We wouldn't be mad enough to become like a super villain, but you know. But that's not the case with him at all. No, the case with him was like he was just smart enough to pull the wool over the detective's head. Oops, sorry. Once you watch the movie, you figure out what I'm talking about. But I thought of like when you start talking about Lion King, I thought about the villain. I thought of Syndrome from The Incredibles, because you you remember why he turned into a villain? Was I thinking because he was just annoying Mr. Incredible all the time, and he just told him to go away. I guess I only watched it once, and I just find that interesting that is what takes him over the edge. I'm not saying that was justified, but I'm saying like it's a very understandable reason as to why like you would be upset with someone, and you know people can be upset and they'll say things to people and then realize like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, but he went and did it. I don't know. I just like when it's funny to watch like how a villain thinks. But yeah, so I guess your top 3 movies, if you were to watch them again, would be Hitch. I don't know if it's any particular order, but I'm gonna start from like what you said: Pulp Fiction, Fight Club, and Hitch.
Yes.
I do have a top 5 actually, and it is Ray, Akira, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill. Am I at 4? Yeah, and Sleepaway Camp. I guess it's like interesting. A music biopic, an anime, 2 Quentin Tarantino movies. I don't even know what to put in the genre. I just call them Quentin Tarantino movies, and an 80s horror. I don't know what that says about my personality. But I guess that's gonna end up. Actually, we're not gonna end up on that. We're gonna end up with some rapid fire questions. Yeah, because the camera's about to lose time. My laptop's about to die, but I could charge that. But we're gonna end up with some rapid fires.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
3. No, I'm kidding. All right.
Just everything is 3. Okay. Start off with this. Are you a morning or a night person?
I'm a morning person to get stuff done, and I'm a night person to have fun with. If to have fun with, like I'd like to do things that don't require much work, but a lot of creative things at night.
Gotcha. Alright, we're just gonna use camera audio for this one. Wait, hold on. Actually, no.
You do know we're down to the last 2 minutes on here, right?
Yeah. Okay, you said You said morning person to get stuff done, night person to do some fun stuff with. Terms of music, soul or jazz?
Ooh. I would have to say jazz right now.
All right, whew, that was exhausting. All right, in terms of fitness, lifting weights or yoga?
Right now, yoga.
Okay. Yeah, we're down to 1 minute. My laptop just died on me, so I don't even know if we have to record the audio. But that was the episode of the podcast. Eli, thank you so much for joining me here.
Oh,
I was I'll see you like another time too, but we literally live in the same room.
Well, thank you for having me on.
We're good. The audio.
I appreciate it.
All right. Sorry, we just like made touchdown. The audio is perfectly fine. I just have to save it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for joining us. Peace out, everybody. That was a really hectic like minute and a half.